contract and liability. We typically, in a special privilege process, have a certificate of liability. There was a change in definition in our memo from holder, rather than additionally insured to now a holder. I do have some questions about the what the terms are, when we get notified, when you know, is it 5 days before they're installed, when a new resident, you know, buys a plaque? So those are some of the technical things I can go through, but if you'd like to present the concept that you have.
We were organizing this with the...
And you are?
Okay,
I'm
sorry. My name is Robert Dean. I'm the new president of the Shorewood Historical Society, with a 3934 North Ridgefield Circle. So I'll give you a little background on this. My daughter lived in Whitefish Bay, and the house that she lived in was historically significant, and it had a disc in front of her house with the date that her house was built. And after that, I had seen other discs. And being on the board, it's been the desire of the Historical Society Board to do something to recognize the historical significance of our housing stock. So, coming on board, I came up with this idea. I went to a company in Watertown, Archie Monument Company. They make gravestones and high quality, they work with high quality materials. And they also make pavers, which this is, for universities, religious, or, you know, a whole variety of groups that like to put pavers down and recognize maybe donors or whatever. So I talked to them about this project and what we wanted to do. That we wanted to have the dates prominently displayed and the Historical Society logo on it. So this is a quality piece. This is granite, and it's engraved, and it's something that's going to last. You know, it's built to last over 100 years, I think. So with that, I was thinking our program would be different than Whitefish Bay's, where they picked out significant, you know, homes that were historically significant. We want this to be available to anyone in Shorewood that would like to have this. We'd be happy to have, I know we have some new residences. I'm thinking the one on Kensington that maybe you've seen, or the one on Glendale. We'd love to have those residents, if they desire to have one of these stones in front of their home. So we are opening this up to the community. We are, because we're thinking that we might have a volume thing here, I think we could. I mean, I have neighbors that have said, they've looked at this and said, I want one, you know, in front of my house. I think we, because we'll be able to do some volume, we're getting a very good price on this, and I think it's been surprising people. We can offer this for $99 for the stone installed. That's I think a very good value for our residents, and something that I think that's affordable for anyone that wants to do it. And so, so we're ready to go on this. We have
Who installs it?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I said who installs it, but
Who installs it?
going to say that.
We are talking several options there. I have one landscape contractor, and we've given him the number that we need for him to do it, that has said, yes, he's on. I have another one that's waiting for me to give him a call tonight or tomorrow to see if he would be on. We're also, you know, we were looking at options for installing, but I think we've got it, you know, to have this done. The way we would organize this is we're going to offer this, if it is approved by the board tonight, we would go live tonight with our website where residents could get the information about this stone. They can order this stone, they can pay for this stone online. We will get a spreadsheet with everyone's order so we can organize it by street. And this is what we're telling the contractors: when you get this, we'll have it all organized for you by street, you go right down the street, put in the stones. We are going to offer this year for a limited time, hoping to start tomorrow, with the offer being closed on September 30th, 45 days. And at that time, we must cut it off because we have to provide an organized order for the people that are going to fabricate this. We aren't going to be doing this one at a time as they come in. We're going to give them one big solid order. We're going to have 10 1923s and 15 1927s and whatever. And they're going to get an order like that. And then they're going to produce the stones for us. And I think I provided a timeline, what we're working with. We basically have 2 weeks to get it in. October 15th, we have told our contractors we want this to be installed within the month. And I installed this in front of my house. It took me 20 minutes, basically, to put it in. And I have a construction sequence, which I provided to you, of how this is done. It's put in a way that it's going to be there. This is flush. This is not rising above the walkway. And I provided the measurements for the contractors so they know exactly how to do it, so it's flush. They can shovel over it, you can mow over it. And it's small. It's not that big. Our preferred spot is the corner of the sidewalk and the carriage walk. One, because the two sides of that concrete actually provides a nice border, and then all we need is some paved edge on the other two sides to put it in. So
So you're talking between the sidewalk and the street?
yes, between and as I looked at this, you might ask, well, why didn't you go to the just put it on the homeowner's property? Well, if you go around the village and you observe the property, there's slopes on most of the property. We'd have to keep this away from their sidewalk anyway. So then we don't have anything that's uniform. It'll be a hodgepodge of, whatever, if we did it that way. This gives us an opportunity to have uniformity to this, so that as we have this historical, what we hope will be an historical walking tour of Shorewood in the future, after we get enough of these in, residents can walk the village and see these stones right next to the sidewalk as they walk. The date pops out, they'll know what it is. And this speaks to our mission, which is to educate the village members, our fellow citizens, about the history of the development of the village. Further with this, after we get this on, I think our view in the future is we'd like to have an app on a phone that provides who the architect, if the resident wants to provide that information, we'll ask them in the future, would you like to tell us about the architect, the builder, or someone of historical significance that may have lived in this house, and provide that information. We have Les Aspin, who lived in the house across the street from me. Wouldn't people like to know that? He was a defense, the Congressman Dickie Chappelle, the famous journalist and photographer, lived in Shorewood, and wouldn't people like to know if that resident would like to do that? So that's just an example of what we'd like to do with this. So it's I think this could be a win that fits in with our walking community. Get people out and get out walking and take a look at the for an historical walk. Any questions?
Yeah. President Johnson is, not this President Johnson, but our President Johnson's press secretary after he retired lived in my house. I don't know why I said that. Three things. First, thank you. From the information you've presented to us, this is a great package. I mean, you've given us the timeline, all the background. I originally chuckled when I looked through these, initially what I thought were painfully detailed photos of the installation process. But then I thought about it, so you've really thought
This is what we're doing as a contractor.
Yeah.
I'm telling the contractor, this is the way we want this installed.
Thank you.
There it is, step by step.
You're going to get a time until September 30 for people to sign up, and
Yep.
you're going to make an initial order. Then what happens after that? Will this be a once-a-year thing?
This will be, exactly, then we're thinking that we'll get the first, the initial order in, people see the stones, or a neighbor buys it, and, hey, I'd like to have one this year. So we'll do, what we would do is repeat this program next year at the same time.
I was at an art gallery once buying a piece of glass, and as we negotiated for the price, the guy said, "Do you want the date on it?" And I said, "Sure, that'd be great." So, well, how do we do that? I said, "Can you put 1600 on it?" Thinking that if I bought this piece of glass and it was from 1600, it'd be more valuable. So my question there is, how does it get that? How do we validate that that is in fact the date?
Well, we have those records here.
So that is.
We have the records in the village. We're going to be, in our inquiry, when people fill this out, they go to our website to fill out, we ask them, do you know the date of your house? They have the option of putting the date. No, I don't know the date. We will then look up the date.
And if I put in my application, I say 1915 for
If you-
1919 house.
And we're going to also, we're going to be checking. We're going to be checking what the people tell us, because we want this to be, there's going to be some circa, where it's disputed about, well, the building permit, the records that the village has, and I understand they've got all of them, but it may not be, it may conflict with what we'll come to some type of, it's going to be circa,
Got it.
1917 or something like that.
Great.
Yeah.
I have two questions and then some questions for Erica on why I pulled the item off consent. But it sounds like a fabulous program. I'm very excited about it. Anything we can do to promote historic preservation, hopefully get an ordinance at the village, I'm totally in support for. Two technical questions. If you are going to do an app, one thing just to think about, I'm sure you already have, but is there like A, B, C, so that if they go right on the app, like how do they identify from that plaque which house they're looking up on a future website?
They would go to the address.
Right, but then they have to figure it out. I just was wondering.
They would have to do that, but we haven't got, this is a kind of a wish thing, a project, and, that's something we really want to do, but it might be a year or two down the road before we can do
The
it.
only reason I'm thinking about now is because you could put a physical marker on the stone, like a 1 or 3, so then down the line you could do that. But you don't need to, I just wanted to know if you consider that. And then the other thing is how will you market to the multifamilies? Because I think we have some great, potentially multifamily units that might want some plaques.
How would we?
To the landlords, or how can we market that to them?
I think that, we're going to hand this on as far as the marketing, this will be in the village manager's memo. It's really going to be up to whether they have a multifamily or they have a residence, they're going to have to be proactive about wanting to get one of these. We're going to try to get the information out there, but I don't know that we're marketing specifically to a particular group. We're just saying, anyone that wants to do it, as long as they've got a place to put it.
And $99.
And $99.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just think there are sometimes landlords of bigger buildings are different than homeowners. They don't have the same ownership, but for the community, it might be a good thing to pursue that a little further. And I'd be glad to help. I'm sure we can brainstorm and have public community.
Well, we're happy for any marketing ideas, that's for sure.
So my technical questions are more for Erica. After reading, there's a little bit of a difference in I don't know if everyone's read the packet, but typically when we apply for a special privilege, the homeowner provides some sort of certificate of insurance. In the memo, you state that it would actually be the historical society, and then it also says in the application they do not have liability insurance. So
Right.
how do we, I know we're going to require that the resident cover that liability, and there's no term sheet here or like agreement. Usually if it's just a property owner and us, it makes sense, and maybe this is more for the attorney. If it's with an organization for an ongoing program and they don't have the liability insurance, how do you solidify that in writing.
When Mr. Dean first came to the village staff, there's several of us that got involved. And brainstorming, I was thinking, well, if this is a program, maybe the program has to be approved. If not that, then it would have to be a special privilege. So I'm the one who said, well, I didn't like the fact that we would have each homeowner spend $50 to have an 8x8 granted when you're going through them already and paying $99. So I came up with this idea that give us one permit under the Historical Society's address, and they could give us updates. Now, as far as the liability insurance, again, it seemed a bit onerous, and I put an email in the packet that is a summary of my discussion with an American family insurance agent in the village who helped me better understand how our code applies for that liability language. And I'm hoping maybe one day a committee can talk about that further, about when a liability certificate, how it's used in